So, up to 4,000 new jobs, a new working environment, and a fresh start for this part of West Lothian. Heartlands truly represents an exciting, dynamic seam of prosperity for neighbouring towns and villages.
All the way from Newton down on the river, all the way up to Black Ridge, they're all, in a sense, looking to this project.
And one of the things that we have to look forward to is a long-term future for Whitburn with the business park, with the developments, to make sure that our young people can have a future in Whitburn and in West Lothian.
Across the generations, Whitburn and its people sense Heartland's pulse begin to quicken.
It's going to be fantastic.
I'm very excited about it.
It'll be marvellous.
It's a beat that gets stronger every day as the new project moves on.
Whitburn's very fortunate that we're equidistant between Edinburgh and Glasgow, and we can draw from both sides.
That's the thing about Heartlands. As with Whitburn's championship-winning brass band, the potential the expanded community represents has already struck a chord with local people.
I think if people were moving here and seeing that the band were not just representing the town but representing the new community as well, hopefully we get behind the band. We've just started up a new youth section, a beginner section, which hopefully will develop players and develop the band in the long term.
The new residents will find an established, proud, confident community spirit alive and well. With Heartlands, Whitburn can be winners, as one famous Scottish Junior Cup hero explains.
You know, in today's world, it's so much easier to relocate, and it's important that, you know, people are proud of Whitburn and the surrounding towns and want to stay here.
Heartlands will allow incoming businesses to harness that spirit and prosper in one of the finest commercial locations in Scotland. The young folk realise this and do want to stay, build a career, and in time bring up a family. Heartlands can help them achieve both.
I know that I might not be in Whitburn, I might be in Edinburgh or Glasgow or wherever, but I'd really like to stay in Whitburn. I mean, I can't see myself not being there. So.
Graduated from uni, done well. Oh aye, I'd like to have been married. I'd like to have had maybe a kid, two kids by then. And I'd like to have a stable job. I'd like to be able to have my kids playing up and down, up and down the street, go to a swing park. Somewhere I know they can be safe and they can grow up and they can have fun and they can tell their kids that they've had a good childhood.
I just hope that it becomes more a known town through the golf courses and the new developments.
It's a one-man operation right up to a large-scale manufacturing or other industry. We shouldn't be putting any restrictions. If we can provide employment, I'm not really caring what size it is. We're looking to get jobs for people, that's the main thing.
But jobs and future prospects will exist beyond the normal office or workplace environment. Heartlands will draw on Scotland's position as the home of golf to provide further employment opportunities. The creation of not one, but two world-class golf courses and a world destination hotel resort will bring golf tourists to the area, inject cash into the local economy, and provide a further jobs boost for local people.
Everybody else would like to be there to see the project finished. It'd be absolutely marvellous with the landscaping, the ponds. You'll have a business park. You're going to get 2,000 houses. You'll have jobs, and you're also getting a primary school built in there. The thing that I'm looking forward to is 2 golf courses, and one of them is going to be up to the standard of Ryder Cup.
Scotland clearly has such a strong tradition that we've got people coming from all over the place, not just the Americans and the Japanese as it used to be, but people now coming from Europe on the short-haul flights for long weekends, actually wanting to play in Scotland, the home of golf. So I think this can only be a win-win for West Lothian in having a championship range golf course.
Heartlands is attracting global interest as the two courses will be the first in the world to use recycle coal waste to sculpt the landscape.
Part of that has been down to our project manager, Alec Muirhead. He discovered that a lot of the material on site actually had organic qualities.
Another first is that it's the only place in the world with a golf course actually dedicated to the memory of Donald Ross.
We found that if we treated this waste coal by sieving it and washing it, what we could do would be to create a material that was very similar to the sort of sand that Donald Ross used to cap his golf courses, that was very free draining. And the sort of movement in the soils that Donald Ross used, because he had horses and drag pans manoeuvring this material around, he was able to create a delicacy in the landscape that was very unusual. And really, to try and do that today with today's machinery, which tends to be a lot bigger, is quite difficult to do. But when we found that we could use this coal and we could actually grow grass in it, it altered our feelings completely. All of a sudden, we had a material that, instead of using the very big machines to move the stuff around, we literally could ride around on the small machines and create a very similar landscape to that of Donald Ross. And so we took the decision that what we do would be to create two courses, different in their landscape character, but very similar in their golfing character.
A son of Dornoch, Donald's finest achievement was to design one of America's most famous golf courses, Pinehurst, North Carolina.
With the design principles that Ross had established, we could create something which would actually be a memorial to him, a memorial as far as Scotland was concerned, and which established a link between this area and the American market. Now, that had also established a tourism link for us, but it gave us something unique, something completely special as far as this golf course is concerned, this golf development is concerned. And from that point of view, we know already, just from talking to hoteliers who have been talking about their presence in Scotland, that there are American hotel chains who are very excited by the idea of having that sort of link, because Donald Ross in American golfing circles is a name that's exceedingly well known. Much more well known than in Scotland or in England for that matter. And trying to do something which was a homage to the design principles of this man, we think was a real opportunity for Scotland.
Two premier golf courses, constructed to PGA criteria and designed true to the ethos of Donald Ross.
At the end of the day, they have two golf courses, two major championship golf courses, and a hotel complex built on the site with the houses round about it. It's something like 20 mile from Glasgow Airport, 16 mile from Edinburgh Airport, motorway links straight through to this belt. I can't see it failing.
Although laid out in accordance with tradition, both courses are being designed to meet the strict requirements of modern-day broadcasting, with dedicated camera and commentary positions built in. Hospitality and commercial sponsorship facilities will form an integral part of both courses.
Yeah, it's a living organism, and it's a very complex living organism. And you know, at the end of the day, a sport has to be played on it. You want it to be attractive in appearance, and you want it to be sustainable. Is the critical issue with any development which we're looking at in this modern day. The site here is good in the sense that we can move the contours around as much as possible. It's extremely exposed, so one of the golf courses we're going to do a lot of tree planting to reduce that exposure. On the championship course we're going to leave that exposure open, because it's very much in the link style of golf to have some very high winds tormenting the golf shots. It's got tremendous views. For instance, you can see Arthur's Seat in one direction, you can see hundreds of miles in other directions. It's going to be some stunning views. And there's no doubt about it, it's probably one of the most spectacular golf courses in terms of views that you could ever hope to visit.